Raider Nation, good freaking morning. I got some Raiders news today that's going to make you smile. And coming up here today on Overreaction Monday, why every single person that bleeds silver and black should be a happy Raiders fan. Because I'll tell you this right now, man. I have not been this fired up. I have not been this happy on a Monday since the Raiders beat the New England Patriots in Week 1 NFL action. And if you feel the exact same damn way, hit that subscribe button, because when I go live a little bit later on today, we're going to party, we're going to celebrate, because Raider Nation deserves it. You deserve it, and I want you to know that. You deserve to be happy today. So coming up here, we're going to get into some big-time trending topics. And is this the best Monday ever after a loss? This is an overreaction. And the reason why it's an overreaction is because the best has yet to come. I can't wait for that Monday when I wake up after that Week 17 loss to the New York Giants, and I'm going to be like, put it in my freaking veins, baby, because that's essentially going to be the game, I believe, for the number 1 overall pick. But the day that I want you to circle on your calendar, January 5th, that Monday, that's going to be when we have solidified the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. I think it's also going to be the day that Pete Carroll gets the boot and Pete Carroll gets fired. And if you're not subscribed, hopefully what I'm about to say will make you subscribe. I'm going to go live 11 hours and 11 minutes. That's my wish, to get rid of Pete Carroll, to get rid of Geno Smith, to get this team going in the right direction. And when that show ends up going down, that's going to be the first time I crack open a beer in a very, very long time, because I'm going to celebrate the shit out of it. That will be the greatest Monday ever after a loss. Let's go to the next thing here, because this is why Raider Nation should celebrate. This is why you should be feeling great as a fan, because we were the biggest draft winners yesterday, maybe outside of the New York Giants, who currently are sitting at number 1 in the NFL Draft. But we needed the Saints to beat the Buccaneers. Saints beat the Buccaneers. We needed the Titans to beat the Cleveland Browns. Titans beat the Cleveland Browns, and we ended up losing to the Denver Broncos. So as it stands right now, we are the number 2 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. But what you see right here is what's important, because I got asked this a bunch. Mitch, the Raiders beat the Titans head-to-head. Why are we number 2 and Tennessee's number 3? It's strength of schedule. So because of the strength of schedule tiebreakers, the Raiders are going to be ahead of Tennessee for the NFL draft order. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you got to be able to look at the remaining schedule for all these teams out there. So the next thing that I'm going to bring up here, because there are 4 games left for the Silver and Black. There are 4 games left for the Tennessee Titans. But the Raiders will have the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Do it for me, Reed. For just win, babies. Believe it, baby. It's going to happen. Does anybody here think that the Raiders are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly? I know I don't. I'll tell you that right now. Does anybody think that they're going to beat the Houston Texans, who look like the best defense in the NFL right now? I can't wait to see Will Anderson eat Geno Smith for his lunch. I can't wait for Danielle Hunter to go hunting against Geno Smith in this offensive line. I can't wait for the nightmares Brennan Carroll and Pete Carroll are going to have going up against those 2 teams. Now, the Giants, they make me a little bit nervous. And then also, the Kansas City Chiefs might make me a little bit nervous. But Kansas City, we'll talk about them in a little bit. But the Raiders' schedule is on the left. The Tennessee Titans schedule is on the right. And because of where it sits right now, I understand that the Philadelphia Eagles, they play a Monday Night Football, so we still don't know whether or not that's going to be a win or loss. My point is this, though. Unless something really drastic changes, and I just don't see how it's mathematically possible, and if you're watching this show for my math expertise, I'll tell you this right now. You see that subscribe button? Click it, because you shouldn't be subscribed to this show. Unsubscribe immediately. The reason why I'm showing this, though, is because, again, the Raiders' strength of schedule. If we go back to that draft graphic, you will see the strength of schedule, where the Raiders are at in terms of their percentage. .548. Tennessee's at .573. The Titans, based on wins and losses, already still have a higher strength of schedule compared to the Raiders. So if they lose out, and they lose every single game from here on out, you have the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. But you know what? The last time the Raiders had the number 1 overall pick, it didn't go very good. Can you name who it was? Here's a ball knowledge test, because the Raiders have only had the number 1 pick where they've taken a quarterback only one time. And, you know, if you don't remember, it's probably for the best. And God, there's no way it could be that bad again, right? Right? Hopefully not. Here's going to be the pinned comment, though, because, yeah, we could talk about, the Raiders having the number 1 overall pick, but if you don't pick the right guy, it doesn't really mean anything, right? And I've seen a lot of fans out there say, Mitch, you haven't watched the Raiders. They can't draft. They can't draft. I'll just say this. I think Brock Bowers, hell of a first-round pick. I think Ashton Genty is a hell of a first-round pick. I do think that if you have the number 1 overall pick and you hire the right head coach, we have a good front office. I still believe in Tom Brady. He wanted Mike Vrabel and he wanted Ben Johnson. What you have to do with the number 1 pick, though, is very important. So I want to know, if the Raiders have that pick, who do you want? My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. If the Las Vegas Raiders have the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, I am filming this video right now on December 8th. To me, you have 3 options. You either A, draft Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Indiana. You go get yourself a franchise quarterback because Mendoza thinks the exact same way Tom Brady does, and I want a guy like that. Or you draft Dante Moore, quarterback from Oregon, who is another really good QB. I want to be able to build with my new head coach. I want to be able to build with that young quarterback. Option here, and again, these are not ranked. You trade back to number 2. You get extra draft picks because somebody's going to want to go up there and get number 1. So if you're in the boat of, I'll take Mendoza, I'll take Dante Moore, we need more pieces to be able to fill across all this team, offense, defense, special teams, this might be the best option of all of them because I'll take Mendoza, I'll take Dante Moore, and I would love to take those extra draft picks. Coming up next here on the show, more Overreaction Mondays, and I'll just say it like this. I hate to say that I told you so on this next one, and the fact that I did call this in a sense, and the fact that my source was right on what we're about to talk about here, it's going to blow your mind. And if you don't know what I'm talking about yet, I encourage you to go watch our Thursday show that we did last week. But today's show, this is also why I'm happy, is sponsored and presented by PrizePicks because it's the holiday season. It's the best time of the year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, tank celebrations, it's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day of what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that's on PrizePicks. And you know who was right this week? Your boy, right here, Mitchell Renz 365. I turned $5 into $35. I feel like the richest man right now here at the Chat Sports Studios. And I'll just give you a little tip. Go less on all things Raiders. Just do it. I'm telling you, go less on all things Raiders, and then you find one other player. You look at the matchup, and Pat Bryant has always done a good job against the Raiders because they give up the 5 to 10 yard route, and I don't know what the defensive scheme or idea was for Pete Carroll because it's definitely not the Patrick Graham defense playing all this cover 3 and sitting back. But imagine going up against Bo Nix and being okay just giving up 5 yard outs. Just imagine being able to just give up the dink and dunk. The number 1 quarterback where you make him stretch the ball down the field is Bo Nix. The number 1 place for you to get started in America's fantasy sports apps out there, it's at PrizePicks. So I was able to win some lineups, and guess what? One of the new features that PrizePicks has is you can follow people straight from the app. So if you want to follow celebrities, if you want to follow me, you can do it. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to be able to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, oh man, it is good to be right. Let's keep it moving here. Overreaction Monday, the happiest I have been. I mean, I literally feel like it's Christmas Eve morning. Do I get to open a gift after this show, Reed? I would freaking love to just rip open a box. Giggity. Geno leaving against the Broncos made me smile. For just win, babies, believe it, baby. I want to be very clear here. I will never root for an injury. And the reason why I am smiling is because all the reports that have been out there, I have reached out to some people who I try to talk to. I have not heard anything back, but based on the reports that are out there right now circulating, Geno Smith is not hurt. He had a hand injury. He left the game for not left the game, but he had the hand injury, went on the sidelines, was showing that he was in pain, ended up returning to the game. Then he tried to roll out to the right, got hit, banged up that shoulder a little bit, ended up leaving the game. But the reason why Geno Smith made me smile is because the amount of Raider fans that I talk to after every single game, I don't know if y'all know this, it's what I do after games. And I was talking to fans yesterday, watching Sunday Night Football, watching the Texans kick the shit out of the Chiefs. I was on like 4 or 5 different calls yesterday for probably about 3.5 hours. Y'all know who you are. Really enjoyed all the calls that we had yesterday. But the number one thing that I heard was the loudest cheer of the day when Geno Smith left that game. And if you didn't hear what Pete Carroll said at the podium, I think that this is a big reason why he said it. And I'll talk about it a little bit later on today when I go live on the Raiders Report. But it was the loudest cheer of the day. And the reason is simple. People hate Geno Smith. I don't want to have to root for a quarterback that flipped me and my entire family, friends, fan base off. I'm not going to do it. But Geno Smith not being hurt is a good thing because I actually think that he gives us the best shot to keep on losing at this point. But it was the loudest cheer of the day. Again, you deserve to root for what you want. You deserve to cheer for what you want. And if a guy tells you to go F yourself and flips you off and you got an organization that stands behind that guy, I'm going to keep booing his ass. And I'm telling you this right now. I would boo Geno Smith at a church. That's too far. I would boo Geno Smith at every place out there outside of a church. And I mean it when I say it. Let's go to the next reason here. Kenny Pickett look good? Kenny Pickett look good. Now, again, the hard part about doing this show right now is like, do I want Kenny Pickett and Aidan O'Connell to play right now? I don't really know if I do because I can make the argument that I think that Kenny Pickett and Aidan O'Connell could actually help us win games more than Geno Smith just from the simple fact of tape, right? There's no tape right now out on Kenny Pickett for the Raiders. There's not a lot of tape right now out on Aidan O'Connell for this current Raiders team. Everybody has all the tape in the world on Geno Smith, and when you're such a bad coach team like we are, you can look at that tape because Pete just does the same shit over and over and over again on offense and defense. How many people out there were surprised that the Raiders scored a touchdown on that first drive and did absolutely nothing for the remainder of the game until garbage time came in? But I was happy because Kenny Pickett looked good, and I was extremely, extremely happy for Shedrick Jackson because that guy's been working his tail off, and I love the fact that he got an opportunity. His first catch in the NFL was a touchdown. Go celebrate, young man. I'm happy for you. The final reason why it made me smile, my source was right. I said on Thursday when I was live on the Lions and the Cowboys that I had a source tell me that Geno Smith is afraid to play in front of Raider Nation, that there are multiple Raiders players that believe that the current state of Allegiant Stadium is very hostile and they enjoy playing on the road more than they enjoy playing at home. And yesterday there was more Broncos fans than Raiders fans, but Raider Nation let their voice be heard. So the fact that my source told me that Geno Smith was going to fake an injury to try to get out of that game, and then it ends up kind of happening in that situation, you can believe me if you want, but at the exact same time, I do think you got to think about it a little bit because Geno Smith knows that he gets paid no matter what. And he knows, and I've said it before, that he's going to force his way out. I have had people tell me that. And I think yesterday is another example of when I get something and somebody shares it with me, I tell Raider fans things that I would find interesting as a fan. I am not an insider. I am not a beat reporter. I have no interest in being a Raiders beat reporter. I promise you that right now. But when I get information, I share it with all of y'all. And the fact that my source was right on Geno Smith leaving that game, maybe he was actually hurt. But I'll tell you this right now. I don't believe anything Pete Carroll says. I don't believe anything those coaches say. And I definitely don't believe Geno Smith. So would I be shocked that he faked an injury to get out of that game because he can't take the heat? No, I would not. One person who deserves all the love in the world, yesterday's MVP, C. Raider! What a legendary game from my brother from another mother. 5 bangs yesterday, goes home with the Oakland, my old style Raiders Report jacket. I was happy that a legend was able to win it. I was happy my OG jacket went to OC Raider. Let's go to the next reason why I am ecstatically happy today on a Monday after a Raiders loss. I think the Chiefs are missing the playoffs, y'all. 4 just win babies, believe it, baby. Now, I know it's not 0%. And what I'm about to say here, I actually think might be, kind of crazy for some fans, but bear with me a little bit. The Chiefs yesterday lost to the Houston Texans, and I thought they got their ass pushed in. And, probably for some Chiefs fans, they probably like that type of shit. But when you look at that game yesterday, the Texans have shown, again, another blueprint of how to beat Kansas City. They were trying to not let Patrick Mahomes win with his legs. They were trying to force it down the field. They were also getting after him with 4. But we've seen a lot of times Patrick Mahomes struggles when you're able to get pressure against him. And I think a lot of teams are building teams like Houston for that exact reason, to be able to get after a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But at 6-7 right now, the Kansas City Chiefs have about a 16 to 17. Can I still do this? I don't really know. But a 16 to 17% chance to make the playoffs. I'll tell you this, it's not a lot of a chance, right? But to me, it's still important for them to have a 1% chance. The reason why, when the Raiders play the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 18, I want them to have a 1% chance. Because what I don't want to see is a team that lays on their stomach, realizes that if the Raiders get the number 1 overall pick, it helps them out. And I don't know if that's going to end up happening because I think a lot of people will be fighting for their jobs. And I think, a guy like Travis Kelce looks like he's going to be done. There's a lot of players I think that could be their final game that they ever play. But the reason why I at least want them to have a 1% chance is because if they have a 1% chance, they will beat the Las Vegas Raiders. But let's look at this AFC playoff picture here, right? And I know that the Broncos are there, number 1, but let me be very honest. I don't think the Broncos are any good. I don't think that they're good. I know they have 11 wins, but they're not a team that really impressed me. So when I think about having home field advantage, the Denver Broncos do not scare me at all. And I am looking at this AFC playoff picture going, you're telling me Justin Herbert with a broken hand who chokes more than anybody is going to win a Super Bowl? No. You think Bo Nix, who stinks, and that team overall, like when you watch that team play, they are the worst number 1 seed I've seen in the AFC, I think, since the 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers, and we remember how that game ended up going down. But we could actually have a playoffs where we do not have Kansas City in it, and I'm also very happy for my guy Chugs because I'm going to be rooting for Houston. I'm going to be rooting for the Texans. So yesterday, Texans beating the Chiefs, FKC's down below, watching Travis Kelce cry on the sidelines like Geno Smith's baby back. You know what? Couldn't be happier. That's why I put it on the thumbnail. My thumbnail today is the craziest thumbnail I've ever made that I kind of like. It's insane. It is what it is. Let's go to the final story here. Pete Carroll is scared for his job. 4 just win, babies. Believe it, baby. And you know what? I'm going to do an entire show around this topic later on today. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. And make sure you're ready for me to go live because I'm going to be live for that Pete Carroll presser later on today. But there's a certain thing that Pete Carroll said that I know for a fact he is scared for his job. And I can't wait to show all of y'all later on today. So I'm going to be live 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you're ready to go. We're going to be having a lot of fun. Also, if you want to watch Monday Night Football with me tonight, make sure you join today's live show because I'm going to be giving out a lot of opportunities to watch Monday Night Football with me on IG on my camera. But it's going to be kind of like, I don't want to say first come, first serve, but yours only have limited spots. I learned that yesterday. You can only do an IG FaceTime call with 8 people. Well, we tried to do one with like 24, and people were like, I can't get into the call. So literally I would be like with 8 people, bounce to a new call, 8 people, bounce to a new call, 8 people. I was literally just going through all these different rooms. I had an amazing job. But I'm going to tell you why later on today. Pete Carroll is afraid of his job. And if you're somebody that wants your voice to be heard, I promise you this. I take a lot of pride in being the voice of Raider Nation. I'm loud. You're loud. But we are very, very loud together. The beat reporters are hearing it. Pete Carroll's hearing it. The next guy we got to get to hear it, and I promise you this, we're close, is Mark Davis, because that's the guy that can make the change. Let's do it, Mark. Let's make the change.